We're going to do that to test the system. We do that a lot in Plymouth County to make sure that we're getting everything that we need to tested. We might do that for efficiency purposes so that the court benefits and the attorneys benefit as well from the system. And we might also need to do this for budgetary reasons, due to shortage of staff and whatnot. If your case is one that's being chosen to be converted, you will be alerted and you're going to be sent notice of that. The rules start with the definition section. And one of the definitions, or new terms of art, if you will, is cover sheet. The cover sheet is not a document you have to fill out or a piece of paper that you're going to have to convert to send in. It's actually the step-by-step process that as you're filing a document or filing a new case, the system takes you through. So as you enter certain information on one computer screen, it automatically rolls over into another computer screen, and that's the cover sheet. And in that process, you're going to be telling the court what type of case you're filing, what the document is, if it's a motion for summary judgment, or let's say you need something expedited. In the appellate side of things, we will get motions for stay, and you may even see, we'll get things filed on Friday afternoon saying, we need this expedited, this trial's Monday morning. So it's that kind of thing, and you're going to be able to do a checkbox and enter information so that you're alerting the court or the clerk's office as to a priority that this needs to be, whether it's a confidential document or whether you're trying to file this under seal. Electronic service. One of the big benefits of this system is that it will electronically serve your documents to opposing parties, provided they're part of provided they're registered filers. What happens is when you file your document, the system will kick you back a notice of electronic filing, and it will tell you who was electronically served. So if I were to file on my case today, like right now, my guess is within 5 minutes or less, my opponents would know that something was filed and they'd be able to access that document. I mean, it's that quick. I've had the opportunity to file a few things in Plymouth County from appeals that we were sending back there, and it is a remarkably quick system. This also tells you, though, that electronic service is not used for original notices. So anything that confers personal jurisdiction, like you're initiating documents in a civil case, you're going to have to continue to personally serve the other side. Electronic presentation. The best way to describe this is currently if you go to the courthouse and you sit down in front of the judge and you hand over a document and say, Judge, I want you to look at this. I don't want to file it yet. In fact, I want to file it under seal, but there's a fight about that. Or here's a proposed order I want you to sign. That hasn't gone through the clerk's office. It doesn't have a file stamp on it. So how do you get it to the judge? And you're going to do that through electronic presentation. And when you're filing this or when you're on the EDMS system, you will be able to select electronic presentation versus electronic filing as an option. And this is the notice of electronic filing and electronic presentation. This is the document that kind of gets kicked back to you that says, yep, the system's got your document, and it alerts the other parties that something's been filed. And again, this will allow them to immediately open the document that was filed, even if the clerk's office isn't open. If you file it at 7 p.m. and your opponent is working, they're going to be able to see that document without waiting for the clerk's office to open the following day or for the mail to be delivered. Registered filer is an individual or an entity whose login and password are used to electronically file documents. Right? And as an attorney, each of you will need to get a username and a password, and you'll do that through the registration process. Remote access. If you are a registered filer, you'll be able to get remote access. That means you don't need to be at the courthouse to search, view, copy, or download electronic documents in court cases. And I think this is a huge benefit to attorneys. You just don't need to run in there. If you happen to know that there's another case out there, that matches yours, and you know the case number and the party's name, you can go ahead and log in there and look at the documents there without, again, asking Diane to pull the file and make copies. Who needs to electronically file? Everyone. The rules are mandatory for everyone across the board. We do have a few exceptions. There are one-time exception scenarios. Let's say you're running to the courthouse, I have a jurisdictional deadline and I haven't registered, or my computer is down, and you can ask the clerk to make an exception this one time for this one document. If you want to be exempted from e-filing altogether, you're going to have to file a motion, appear in front of a judge, and explain yourself. And the rules are set up to make that fairly difficult. I don't want to, or I really just, this isn't my thing, isn't going to work. Okay, and we'll talk a little bit more about exemptions. I think we were talking in Plymouth County, and they started in February of this year. I think there's been 10 exemptions granted so far since February. So it's a limited amount. In order to e-file, you have to register. It's a fairly simple process. I think Ken was telling the group this morning that in Plymouth County, attorneys were able to register by calling in the clerk, and within 10 minutes have their registration information. There's also the ability to register online. You'll need to have your AT PIN number, I guess, to do that, but it's an easy process. If you're working with pro hoc vice attorneys, they will have to be admitted to the case first prior to getting a registration. So how that process is going to work is if you're the local counsel, you'll file the motion to admit them pro hoc vice. When that's granted, then the pro hoc vice attorney will register and get their registration information. You need to keep your password protected. I think all the things that Ken was saying earlier about how important it is that no one hacks in and uses your password and login, it just, keeping that protected increases the integrity of the system. Your username and login is your signature, and it allows you to file documents. And if someone gets access to that, they could be filing a lot of things under your name, compromising not only your reputation but the court file and the court system as well. If your password is compromised, and sometimes it's because you wrote it down and lost it, sometimes because of, it could be as simple as maybe your key support staff has decided to move across the state, and you're going to get new support staff. That would be a good time to change your password, even though you may trust that support staff completely. Because they've moved and no longer in your employ, I would strongly encourage you to change your password at that time. As a registered filer, you have to keep all your contact information current. You have to promptly inform the EDMS system if your address changes, your email address changes, phone number changes, and then if there's someone who's been given exempt status, like one of those 10 people in Plymouth County, you're going to have to notify them of those changes as well so that they know how to contact you. Email counts, you got to keep those that information current, ensure that it's monitored regularly, that any notices sent there are opened. You can set up your internal email in your office so that multiple people can access it in case you're gone on vacation or sick or in trial or whatever, so information continue to be monitored. And we talk about this a lot throughout this, that the sanctity of the password, this is just critical. This is your signature. It would be as if you gave someone a stamp with your signature on and let them stamp anything they wanted. Okay, you really need to keep this protected. The rules say that attorneys are allowed to share their password and username, but only with authorized members of their staff. Okay, if you're a self-represented litigant or a non-attorney, you are not allowed to share your password. There's an exception for this, and it's for registered filers of an entity that's allowed to represent themselves. For example, corporation and small claims. They may share their password with a member of that entity, an authorized member, so that they can file documents. I think we're seeing this in Plymouth County with collection agents